Sweet Victory Pie. This comes to us on page 28 of Sugar Butter Flour, the official Waitress pie book under the section Fruit Pies. We finally made it, folks. This is the final episode of Waitress Wednesday. Sweet Victory Pie is the last pie that we have yet to bake. And I'm out here, cosplaying as Hugh Neutron from Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius. A couple things you have to know about Sweet Victory Pie. One, it is the first recipe that appears in this book. And two, it actually serves as the basis for the pre-show curtain for the Broadway production of Waitress. But outside of those tidbits, there's a very specific reason why I chose Sweet Victory Pie to be the last pie that we bake in this series. But I'm gonna get into that once we actually taste this thing. For now, we must begin the way that a lot of these pies have always begun: pastry. Press it in, then cover the pie shell in plastic wrap and let it chill for an hour. Now we need a second disc of pastry. This time we're rolling out the pastry into a square that's 10 inches on all sides. Use a pizza cutter to cut up this square into even strips. Place the strips on a baking sheet, cover them in plastic wrap, and let these chill for an hour too. Take another baking sheet and place it inside of a preheating 350-degree Fahrenheit oven. Time for the filling! Starting with 5 cups of pitted cherries, 1 cup of sugar, 1/3 cup of arrowroot starch, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And we toss with our hands. Keep on tossing until the mixture is nice and jammy. Pour the cherries into the pie shell. We're also going to take out the pastry strips and we're going to turn them into a lattice top crust. Lay down the horizontal layer first. Peel back alternating top layers. Place down a new strip and fold the top strips back. And just keep on going until we have a complete lattice. Crimp the edge with a fork to adhere the lattice onto the crust. Chill this for 15 minutes to let the lattice hold its shape. Brush the crust and the lattice with an egg wash. Sprinkle over top 2 tablespoons worth of raw cane sugar. Place the pie onto the preheated baking sheet and bake at 350 for an hour to 70 minutes. And there you have it. Sweet Victory Pie. I find it very fitting that I made a cherry pie because it's Hugh Neutron's favorite pie. I can definitely see why this is a favorite. You know, I've always been deterred from cherry pies for my whole life because I always thought that cherries were too tart of a fruit, but when they're baked like this, they're really not. It is a nice, delicate taste with more sweetness in the back end, all centered around a truly flaky pastry. And I didn't miss anything with this recipe, folks. This is literally just it. Sweet Victory Pie is just a plain, serviceable cherry pie with no gimmicks, nothing fancy. And I wouldn't have it any other way. That is the reason why I decided to choose this pie for last. I did it to tell y'all something. Consider this next part my Hugh Neutron fatherly talk to you, except much more coherent. You really don't need bells and whistles to create impressive bakes. There's nothing wrong with creating extravagant bakes, like the peanut butter pie from last week, but sometimes you really need to go back down to basics. Really remind yourself of what being a baker really means to you. It's certainly done that for me. If I didn't start this series, I wouldn't have been introduced to such interesting flavor combinations. It even deepened my appreciation for tastes that I've never acclimated to before in my life, like cherry pie, for instance. And learning how to ground yourself down to earth is something that Jenna in Waitress has to learn through the course of the story. Learning how to find her spark again after years of being abused by men, whether it be her father, Earl, or even Dr. Pomatter to an extent. And it's a message that's really important to me, valuing what really finds your spark, what makes you, you. I literally started this series because I love baking, I love cookery, and I loved Waitress so much. So when I found out that Sugar Butter Flour, the cookbook, was a thing, those two things, Waitress and baking, they were a match made in heaven for me. Even though this is the last episode of Waitress Wednesdays, this is not the last that you are going to see of Jack Reviews Musicals variety content. Hell no. I have a couple more things that'll be coming down the pipeline very soon, and if I actually do manage to follow through with them, I think we're gonna be in for a ride of our lives. Much like this series has been. This has been the most committed that I have ever been to a project since starting this channel. And from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you for watching. Whether this was your first video, last week was your first, or whether you've been here since the beginning, or if you started from the beginning to catch up. Whether you're a once-a-weeker or a binge watcher, just thank you. Thank you for being here. But remember, this is only the end of one incredible journey. Hopefully, within the next few weeks, will be the start of another. Until then, be sure to grab yourself a copy of Sugar Butter Flour, the official Waitress pie book, so that you too can make your own version of Sweet Victory Pie, or any of the pies that I have made within the last 37 weeks. Coincidence? I think not. And speaking of coincidences, this pie was a sweet victory indeed, for you and me. Thank you so much for watching Waitress Wednesday. And until next time, long live the musical, and long live pie.
You know, Jimbo, once when I was 7 years old, I sat on a banana, and of course, that changed my life.